Hello everybody, and welcome to our very first installment of Farrier Products Review. I'm Jason Smith.
And I'm Peyton Underwood.
Peyton Underwood. We are farriers based out of the Portland area, both journeymen. I've been shoeing horses for 30 plus years.
And I've been shoeing for, this is my 9th year now.
So we were sitting around one evening thinking about all the new products that we have available to us, and wondering, for somebody that doesn't have all the information on them, what's going to be the best way to figure out what you're given. So obviously there's a lot of different products to start with. We are going to go with the Rasps. These are going to be the Rasps that we are using right now, or have used in the past. The ones we are currently going to be looking at are going to be the Basoli, the 50, the XL Legend, the XL Original, the Bellotta Raptor Plus, and the Cody James, is that the hoof plane?
Hoof plane, cheese grinder, grater, yeah.
That's kind of an outlier we thought would just be interesting to play with. But yeah, we just felt there needed to be just some information out there for people to look into the different products and to make an educated decision on what you're going to buy. Every time I go into the supply, I'm just amazed at how many products there are, and it just gets a little mind-boggling for me. Right now, there's 12 different rasps to choose from, not including the finished rasps. So you have a lot to choose from.
And that's just at our local farrier supply.
Yeah,
right?
that's just ones we know of. So I'm sure there's more, but anyway, we just hope this helps some people out, and like I said, this is going to be the first installment of many products. We're actually going to do a two-part demo on these. We're going to do just the intro to the Rasps, and then we're actually going to use them on some feet so you can just kind of see the difference in the cuts and how they run. So here's just more of your standard rasp. This is a Heller red tang, and you can see these are a little narrower. This, what I did, I just measured it. Inch and a half?
Inch and
3/4. So your standard is kind of an 1 3/4, whereas the XL Legend and the Basoli and the Original are all 2 inches. And then we have the Bellotta Raptor Plus. Tell us about that one.
It's 2 1/4 inches, right?
It's 2 1/4
It's
inches.
all there. You can build a small axe out of it when you're done with it.
And so some of the differences in the teeth. So that has 8 teeth per row. The Basoli has 8 teeth per row. The XLs have 9 teeth per row on the coarse side. So hopefully you all can see this. We'll zoom in here in a minute. But this is just kind of the overall, let me get this out of here, what we're going to be looking at.
Oh, and the Cody James, the it's around 2 inches too, isn't it? Yeah, it's right at 2 inches as well.
But that doesn't have a fine side.
Oh, it's real fine.
Yeah. So there isn't really a fine side.
There's not a fine side.
And I guess you change out, when these were out, you change this part out.
Yep.
And there's different.
Remove your bolt, and then you can get a different grade, or what would you call that? Fineness of it.
Yeah, there's different grades of replacement. We'll just call them blades.
Yeah.
For now. So anyway, that's what we're going to be looking at, and we're going to zoom in on these real close, and then we'll go over them in a little more detail. All right, we're back. so what we're going to start with is going to be the Basoli 50. It's made in Italy, so that makes it cool right out the bat. And Basoli sounds like some type of noodle or something, but anyway, this is what I'm currently using, and I really like it. Any of these that have the smaller teeth that are wide face, it's definitely going to be a smoother cut on the coarse side. It's not going to be quite as aggressive out of the box, which initially kind of felt dull to me at the beginning, but I find they were just consistent for quite a while. And like I said, the Basoli's has 8 teeth per row. The XLs both have 9. Any of these wide rasps are also going to be a little thinner in profile than the standard rasp. Just a little thinner. Which for some of the handles we're using, the Equithotics handles like this, you've got to wrap the tang to have them go on tight.
But Heller did just come out with a new handle that looks like the Equithotic handle, and it fits a wide rasp.
So it fits the thinner tangs.
Yeah, the thinner tangs.
So there you go. They have now a handle that will fit the thinner tangs. So like I said, this is what I'm using right now. I have used both of these. I have not used this one, but you know, they honestly both cut pretty similar. As far as longevity goes, I think a lot of that is going to be determined by the season, how hard you are on your rasps. I tend to sharpen mine, so I can get a good while out of mine. I don't know how many horses. I wish I could tell you a number, but maybe Peyton has a.
Well, for the Legend's my everyday rasp. This one here, and there's a break-in period on them. There's about 5 horses, and after 5 horses, they don't clog up as much, and then I can run them for a week, which is 30 to 50 head of horses.
Do you find that they clog up initially?
Initially, the fine side clogs up, and so you just brush it out, and for, like I said, the first 5 horses, it kind of pisses you off, but then you can get a glass finish on a foot. Don't have to use the buffer, and they're pretty slick. My favorite part about the Legend is I only have to carry 1 rasp when it comes to finishing. I don't carry a finish rasp, and I just use the Legend for everything. I rotate them through, and it's a good way to keep it simple.
All right, cool. And I would say the same thing on the Basoli. It's going to, the fine side's going to clog up a little bit, and I find it still clogging even as I've used it for a while. But you can see the difference in the cuts, so they're going to give you a little bit different finish on the foot. I like to use a finish file, so I'm not as critical with the finish with this rasp. Really with any of them, since I use a finish file and a buffer typically. So you can see some of the differences in the fine side. We'll move on down to the Raptor here, but just in some of the way the teeth are set and the cross cuts. Obviously, this is the original XL, and it's got a finer cross cut. It seems like when you have the wider spacing, you get kind of a nicer finish on the fine side.
And the biggest difference between the Legend and the original is the Legend's for wetter type environments.
Yes, so on the, well, that says that on this too.
Well, that's the Legend packaging.
Oh, it is, yeah. The Legend, yeah, is for the...
Yeah, the Legend's for wet feet.
Yeah, so that's, the jacket of this claims that it's for wetter feet, so there you go. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah, I feel like these 3 are very similar. they all, for me, they've lasted all about the same. And like I said, I use a finish file, so, and typically a buffer. So I'm not really as concerned with the fine side, but right now I am running the Basoli. Do we want to talk about this one?
Yeah, talk about the Raptor.
So this thing looks pretty gnarly. It's got 8 teeth, but you can see the teeth are quite a bit bigger, and it's a wider rasp altogether anyway.
So this one right here is the Raptor.
Yes, this is a Bellotta Raptor Plus. So, I mean, how could you go wrong with a Raptor? Doesn't that just sounds mean?
Well, you can feel it in your hands
Yeah.
too.
Yes, just don't run this across your fingertips because it'll.
Yeah. Take it to the bone.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive rasp, and I have not used these, but
So I have used the Raptor once, and with feet up here, I just felt it demolished them. We're in a wetter environment, and I felt like you just took a ton of foot at once, and
did you find it grabby?
yeah, it just grabs. So when you pull, it took everything, and I would imagine if I used it more, there'd be a break-in period with them. But really, it just was aggressive. It was too aggressive.
Might be better once they get a little dull.
Yeah, it was too aggressive in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
so this will be interesting to try on our kind of foot demo. So we can have some more comments on that. I'm curious to try it on feet. The fine side seems to be more like the XL, just a finer crosscut. So you're going to get, I always kind of equate it to Parmesan cheese. If you use this kind of cut, you're going to get a graded Parmesan look, a finer hoof filing. When you have the wider space crosscuts, you're going to get more of like a shaved Parmesan. So, with the wider spacing.
So these are for the spaghetti at home, and these are the fancy spaghetti
That's
at the
right.
restaurant, right?
Exactly. There you go. This is this is the cheap Parmesan that they make with sawdust. Anyway, that's on the fine side. But let's talk about this. This is a.
Well, we gotta get this one in.
Oh,
focus.
sorry. Gotta get this on the table here. Bear with us. This is our first go here, so it can only get better. I'm not sure what to say about this. I haven't used one.
I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here.
Hayden's gonna run the camera real quick. All right. So you can see with this, the Cody James hoof plane. This is the only side you have to work with. I honestly have not used one, so I don't have a lot to comment on this, but I thought it was interesting just because it's something different.
Yeah, well, on Facebook and everything, you see them trimming a foot full of mud and just absolutely abusing these things. And they work really well in poor
It shouldn't
condition.
clog up. I mean, I guess you should be able to, it should kind of
Yeah,
clean out by itself.
they clean out, don't clog up, and the one thing is they're very aggressive. What I found out using this one, and it's rough. It's a real rough finish. Of course, it doesn't have a fine side, but you'll get there. You'll get where you want to get. It's a little awkward, just in the hands when you're used to the feel of a normal rasp. It is a little thicker than you'd normally think.
Yeah, here's a little comparison.
And it bends in your hand. So if you're, trimming a foot, it will kind of flex and give to the pressures real easy.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
You should
If
do
it
that
wasn't-
in line. Do that again, yeah.
So here's how flexible this blade is. So, interesting.
And they have supports through there in the skeletal system, but really It does flex a bit. You can't really top dress too much of anything with it. I imagine if you got the finer side or the finer blade, you could do it, but then you're carrying 2 rasps, and that's just not simple in my mind.
Yeah. So it's basically a one-sided rasp, but like it would be probably great for out in the pasture trimming a bunch of brood mares or something.
Yeah, that's actually a
Which
great
sounds
place for
horrible, but
or just out in the pasture.
or just out in the pasture. Yeah. Anyway, so that'll be interesting to try out, and I guess the biggest disadvantage of this is it's got one coarseness to it, which, you know, I guess there again, if you're just out trimming in the field, then you're not worried about finish. So
I'm gonna zoom out.
okay, and we're back after some technical difficulties. We got it figured out, hopefully. So we should probably talk about price point. Basically, other than this, these are all between $25 and $30. So they're all about the same. So you shouldn't be spending any more or less on any one particular one. And even with the standard kind of profile rasp, they're right in there too. So to say one's better than the other, I don't think you could really pick one out, and that's really not our purpose. We're just trying to give you some information on each rasp, and then you can make your choice at least a little more educated. Like I said, I've used all these except for this and the Raptor, and they've all worked out good. I don't mind trying something different, which is why I'm using Basoli right now. I would say don't be afraid to try something else if you're not happy with what you're using, because as you know, there's a lot of choices out there. Any thoughts, Peyton?
Nothing huge, you know. I think we're just 2 journeymen on a journey.
That's right. That's what
As we all should be.
Yes, it is a journey.
Next part, we're going to take these out in the field and show you how they perform.
Yes.
And work.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to try this thing.
It's a trip, man.
Yeah.
It's much like the Raptor on the course side.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to sign off, and we're going to leave you with a motto, or a creed, if you will, that we live by here, and that is, just don't suck.
Just don't suck. Oh, I'm so glad you did that. I was thinking about it all day.
I was like, we definitely need to be saying that.
I want to thank everybody again for watching our first installment, and just remember, it can only get better. We just want you to know that any information that we're presenting is not sponsored by anybody. This is just our findings with the products that we've used. Well, I haven't used all of them, but we're just trying to present some good material that can help everybody out in their daily work.
Unbiased opinions. And for that, we're sponsored by Bud Light tonight and a little tequila. Hornitos. But cheers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.